Cincinnati Bearcats on SI's second look here at the construction going on at the UC Indoor Performance Center. Starting to get the ceiling good to go, paneling on there, some windows on the other end, things coming together. And UC's John Daniel over there at the point of attack on this tour said that the good weather, mild weather over the past few months, back half of 2024, has been very beneficial for construction. Getting a full look here. This is obviously the field and where the team will primarily practice once there is some good quality turf over this dirt. Street side facing right here, which these windows will be obviously covered in due time. Windows up now for the offices, weight room, still coming together over there.
So, yeah, we're basically obviously right at midfield. So $134 million. We're about 18 months in. Substantial completion date, May 30th, 2025. So right on the schedule there. We're really excited to obviously get in the building. So we're right in midfield. Moats is going to do the turf, so it'll be a replica of the Nippert Stadium turf in terms of the design and the layout. We'll have field goal nets at each end. It'll be the full 120-yard field. We'll have storage on the ends and sides for all of our equipment. And then we'll actually have 4 drop-down batting cages here at the north end that baseball will be able to use to get some extra hitting space. So those will come down to field level, so that'll be a nice addition for baseball being right across the way. All of our teams will have access to the field, but obviously primarily a football facility. The Athletics Performance Center runs the whole 120 yards alongside of us. So if you kind of go from left to right, you've got the weight room, which is the kind of 3 large bays, including the down below where you see the biscuit. So the glass is supposed to come in next week for that. So those will be kind of 3 large garage doors that'll retract upwards. So kind of open access to and from the field from the weight room. And then we've got the training room, the fuel bar and refueling station, and then kind of the main atrium right here at midfield. So that was one of the main features of the building in the design process, was that they wanted the main entryway to be right at midfield. And because of the change in elevation of Champions Way, the building is dug into the ground, and so on the ground level is on level 3 at the south end, and in the middle at the main entrance, ground level is at level 2, and then at the north end, ground level at the loading dock is at level 1. So the street level kind of follows the entire width of the building there. But if you're coming in on Champions Way, right in the main entryway, you can kind of get a glimpse of it now, but you would come in this grand atrium and see straight into midfield. So that was kind of the cool wow moment. Locker room, first floor with the equipment room right into the loading dock, and then nutrition center for all of our student athletes on the second floor. We've got kind of this box formation there. There's a little architectural feature that's where our team room is on the other side, so the 2-story auditorium for the full 140-seat team room. And then you've got the players lounge, and then the cardio deck above the weight room. And then the third level is all football, so coaches' offices, recruiting balcony, and then team meeting rooms. But we'll get y'all through there. I think one of the cool things that you can kind of see when you're in there is the efficiency of the space. And obviously we're landlocked and we don't have a lot of real estate to work with, but we felt like we made great use of it. And you'll see that you go from loading dock right into the equipment room with the nutrition center above, right, for ease of access and delivery. Equipment room right into weight room, or right into locker room, fuel station, training room, weight room. So it all kind of flows together with the lounge being right above the training room. So anyway, it's really coming along, and we're excited to show it to you. They started to install those translucent paneling, I guess you call it, that'll fill out the entire Jefferson Avenue side, so we get a lot of natural light coming in, but still get our privacy. Similarly, on that entire north end there, we're still going to have the 50-yard field and be using that on a daily basis. So the bottom kind of quarter, if you will, of that entire wall would be glass and large sliding glass doors for easy access, and then kind of the top 3/4 will again be that translucent material that you've seen, at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minnesota or State Farm out in Glendale. So kind of the bubble type of translucent material there. So again, a lot of natural light will come in with some glass as well. Now you can kind of see in the floor all over this space, you've got panels or plywood covering sections. So there's holes in the foundation where we run conduit for power and data. So we'll have technology wired up at every weightlifting station for testing and monitoring. You log in the system on the iPad and measures your velocity and force plate strength and all the things that Nico and the staff are using now every day. TVs obviously throughout on every column, and then will be kind of a grand statement piece when these glass giant doors come in, right? We'll be able to use those. But this is kind of the main recruiting entrance that Nico's envisioned. So you come in here, you'll have a large screen TV there on that wall as a kind of a welcome, and this would kind of be the program standards, check-in, weigh-in, standards of excellence, standards of performance, right? Every position laid out with shuttle times and weightlifting records and agility, speed, quickness, all the things that they're going to measure, and standards for every position, and the weight room, and culture, and all the messaging there. So, and then you've got offices underneath the cardio deck on the back wall. So going from right to left, sports science office there in the corner. Then 2 offices for our nutrition and dietitian staff for football, and our conditioning, Nico, and a larger office for his staff to kind of share. And then we've got an extra office, some storage, and a restroom. And then we'll have kind of large branding pieces up top on both the north and south walls. On each side, lots of storage. In here with the different rehab modalities. We've got one wall that's concrete reinforced, so that'll be used for upper body rehab, strength, and rehab prevention and bounce back from injuries, right? Doing medicine ball throws against the wall. So instead of blowing holes in the wall, we've got a concrete wall to do that with. This back area, so we've got a wing of offices that wraps around through. So that's our sports medicine offices. We've got an office for mental health, we've got a shared conference room, we've got the exam rooms, x-ray room, pharmacy, and all of their space. And then as you kind of come over in this direction, north is the hydrotherapy area. So where this right angle wall is here will be glass coming down to the floor, and then this would be the hydro area, the wet area. So there's 4 in-ground pools here that are already installed. They got the floor, it's temporarily above those so they can work above. But we'll have an in-ground treadmill with TVs and monitors, and then we'll have a hot tub and 2 cold tubs. And then in the back there, you kind of see that red plywood backer, and the room adjacent is a steam and a sauna. And then wrapped around behind is the float tank. And then the entranceway for the guys on a daily basis there, you can kind of see that teal colored back paneling there through that corner. So that's the car wash. So guys coming from the locker room or coming off the field, you have to go through that entranceway to get into the wet area. So it's got motion sensor shower to spray you down, right? So they're going to be in their compression gear and get all the sweat and pellets off of them from the rubber field. And that way it doesn't get into the system of any of the drains and maintenance. So we've got a cryotherapy chamber that we'll have in here as well. And then obviously eyes directly into the weight room, and then kind of this open concept corridor if guys are just coming in from The locker room, to get general treatment, they can come in this corridor here, but if they're going into the hydrotherapy area, they're going to that one. Showers, bathrooms for the actual locker room, and then kind of connects back to the car wash through that area that goes into the hydrant. But directly into the locker room from here.
Is that car wash?
Yeah, it's started to become one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So these would be. This is kind of the main corridor. If you've seen the rendering, the main entrance to the locker room is down in that end. So you would be looking this way. You'd have a Cincinnati Bearcats backlit ceiling here, kind of stretching the way. You have a barbershop station and chair down at the end of this corridor. These are rows of lockers, right? So you'd be like, think about it. You're going down an aisle and you've got lockers on your left and right. So the lockers are on schedule for early winter delivery from Longhorn, and ran extra utilities for these to have air circulation to all the storage compartments in the lockers to make sure that all their gear is staying dry and fresh and the locker room smells good. And it'll have charging stations and battle rack for their pads and helmets, and a recliner with lots of extra storage. So we're excited to see those come in here pretty soon.
Was there anything on the chopping block that you guys were like, we'd like to put it in, but we already got this many amenities in, or?
No, you know, that's a good question. We really did a pretty good job of, from the start of the project, all the things that we wanted to be included in the scope of what we thought was going to be a comprehensive list of needs for the entire program, and we were really able to keep everything in there. We finagled some of the space and maybe different types of things that were in there, but in terms of value engineering anything out, we really didn't have to do anything. So that was a big plus.
With the lockers, how do you like assess what to put in them? Is it like is there a committee? Do you poll the players?
Sure, no, that's a good question. So we used the Longhorn was a great asset, right? So they've done they're one of the national leaders. They did the Bengals locker room recently. They've done a tremendous amount of lockers around the country collegiately, so they were able to show us a lot of models of lockers that they had done and features that they had at different price points, and storage versus comfort versus lighting package versus different widths and size. And so it came down to, okay, we know we're going to have 110 lockers. We know we want to have practicality with storage and ventilation and charging stations, but we also want it to be comfortable because this is going to be their everyday space. So we felt like we got a good medium design there.
Cool.
That's awesome. This entire wall would be two-sided lockers that, right, the equipment room gets the gear for each player, opens the door, puts it in. Players can come retrieve it on this side. So we'll have two offices for our equipment staff. We'll have a lot of retractable rolling storage, so space saver units that are going to be over 12 feet tall, so we're trying to get as much use out of the square footage as we can. And then we've got our own laundry room with, I think it's going to be 4 to 6 washing machines and 5 dryers, so we're working on maximum capacity for the football program. The main entrance to the locker room. So this would be kind of the gear type tunnel, right? So you come in and it's kind of all blacked out, where you've got all the uniform combinations and mannequins and helmets and gloves and cleats on display from Nike. And then we're looking at doing a display here to list all of our letter winners that have ever been a part of the program. So even can't quite get a full sense of the scale of how tall it is because they've got that false ceiling that they're working on above, but it's like a 60-foot atrium in here, and this is kind of becomes the hub of activity for football. So if you came down from the main entrance there on the second story, you come down, and this would be the Gatorade fuel station. So we'll have smoothies and shakes, storage for all kinds of snacks and refueling and blenders and the whole deal, two-sided refrigerators, televisions. It's going to be Gatorade, UC co-branded. Gatorade's chipping in to help make that happen, so we're really excited about that. So you come down, if you're a football student athlete, you come down, boom, fuel station, locker room, right, your training room, weight room, and obviously the field. So again, we really like the efficient use of the space. But we can hit up these main stairs up there to that second level. This space, when you come in, you can see directly into the field. It's kind of that really cool entrance moment. You'll have a giant backlit synagogue up here on the right wall, and then on the left wall, this entire black wall here to the left is going to be a video board. So we'll be using that for live games, events, and highlights and welcome displays. Big 12 graphics obviously present throughout. But come in, student athlete right going left, we'll get you into the dining hall, nutrition center. So again, all student athletes there, football primarily going downstairs. To the right is the players lounge, and then up to the third level is all football offices in their meeting rooms. Dining hall first. And then you come right into food service. So you can kind of see this cutout here where you've got some hoods already installed from the kitchen prep side. So you have full kind of buffet line, serving stations here, and then buffets out in the open here for different stations. The smoothie station is going to be close to the entrance. Drink stations on the right, and then it opens up into the 150 seat dining space with the outdoor terrace that we're also really excited about. A mixture of banquet seating, low tables that are community style seating, and then high tops. Think of it as kind of a high class sports bar. We'll have our own chef dedicated just to student athlete refueling here, and then again the outdoor terrace will be open for eating as well. So it gives you a great view. We can utilize that space for events and game days, and you can also get a nice view of the field. We can kind of continue through. We've got a little private dining room here that we can keep open for regular use or close down for donor events or welcome events, just to get a little of our own space. And then this actually connects into the main team meeting room. So I mentioned this is a two-story auditorium, right? So 140 seats for the entire football program. So they're going to continue to build these stair steps down, if you will, from the auditorium seating all the way down to the ground level that we're on now. So this wall would be kind of the wall that you saw from the field level with the kind of rectangular box built out around it. So we'll put some graphics maybe on the field side of this, but on this side you'd have a large projection screen with a couple of large monitors on each side, and then some really cool kind of blacked out Cincinnati branding pieces on the side of that. Players lounge, so overlooking the field, kind of open concept. Got a lot of space here for kind of the traditional hangout space. So you think of this main section here is really like the prototypical players lounge hangout, right? Large sectionals, 4 giant TVs on that wall, gaming systems, right? Hooked up and watch all the games and their hangout space. This back section here, this space is what we're calling our recovery lounge. So at one point it was going to be divided, but we ended up taking out the wall because with the recovery modalities that we're going to have from athletic training, whether it's Normatec boots, massage chairs, Theraguns, just more comfortable seating and storage for those modalities, it was kind of like, well, it's kind of becomes one and the same of relaxation, lounge, rehabilitation. So kind of wanted it to be kind of all one cohesive space. Back in this area, you have the games, right? Ping pong, pool table. Got a kitchenette type of a cutout here for food service, so you can have hosting recruits or events. Lay the food out there, and then even a back kind of another banquet, gaming, comfortable lounge area there. So 4 more TVs on that wall, and then a back entrance for football use, which kind of gets out the back stair to that landing, which can get you right down to the locker room, and then obviously a nice view of the field. And then there's what we're calling our quiet room. It's still a part of this kind of recovery lounge area, but we've got this additional room that is going to get segmented off into 4 kind of pods, if you will. So that'll be, that's primarily driven by sports medicine. And the big emphasis there was on rehab and recovery that'll be kind of assigned to individual student athletes. So we'll have 2 dry flow beds where, you know, they're like giant massage chairs that you lay down in. It feels like you're floating, but you don't have to get wet. And then one will be a, I'm going to butcher the name of it, bed. So, you know, you can kind of refresh your body and muscles with sound vibrations that are played through the unit. And then one will be a laser, red light laser therapy bed. So we've got one of those right now in the Linder Center, but we'll have one over here as well. So that room will kind of be the quiet space, right? Like assigned, you know, 30 minutes at a time, rotate through quiet space. This space is supposed to be a little more fun and loose and kind of that team bonding area. Official visits come in, you got 2 changing rooms, right? Go in, try on the jersey combinations, you know, get in front of the green screen, props, you know, family welcome, photo shoots, the whole deal. So that will be all in this space.
Right, just call it a studio.
Yep.
So we're right out onto the cardio deck.
So obviously overlooking the weight room. And this will remain kind of the open concept, overlooking out into the field. All of our cardio equipment up here, wood weight treadmills, regular treadmills, ellipticals, and other cardio workout functions. Like I said, right here on the ground level at the south end. So this kind of becomes the back door, the back entrance that staff will use on a day-to-day basis. So we'll keep this glass visible through. We'll have a nice Cincinnati graphic here, kind of the map of Cincinnati backlit with Cincinnati logo over the top, and then the Nipper at Night graphic here on this wall, and make it kind of a nice statement piece that you'll be able to see from the street. But this again kind of becomes the main entrance for our staff. The right hallway here on the very end of the building is all locker rooms. So the coaches have a locker room, and then the men's and the women's staff each have their own separate locker room. So that would be equipment, nutrition, strength conditioning, you know, kitchen staff, and creative content, social media. And then we have kind of a bullpen area that we call it for all of our student workers and interns. All the, you know, video scouting and analysis and high school transfer portal breakdowns, recruiting mail-out strategies for official visits, and all communications will all kind of happen here with the full-time staff in the offices, and we've got some storage and copy and print rooms as well. Really nice views of over baseball and the Nipper and the rest of the campus from these offices. And then it leads you through to the video kind of hub. So the coach's video suite. So we'll have our office for our director, and then we'll have an entire workstation with an island in the middle as well. So that'll control, we'll have 8K. It's going to do 8 cameras that are going to be remote controlled in the field itself, and then more cameras on the half field outside. So all those will be controlled from this hub, so we won't have to have students climbing up, you know, catwalks or anything to get all the tape that we need. And so they'll do all the breakdowns in here to get practice footage and analyze it all for the coaches and players' iPads and desktops, and connect to all the meeting rooms as well. Miss Sherry. And then this is, you come off the elevator or you come up the stairs, right? You're right here at the hub for football, building out a built-in trophy case there. You've got the head coach's conference room, followed by his office, and then the assistant coaches down that hallway. And then you've got the NFL hallway that you'd be able to see from this corridor as well, that would lead you into the recruiting offices. And then obviously great views into the field itself. And then we've got kind of a waiting area here with the balcony as well, so feel free to step on out.
What UC recruits will be seeing on their visits.
General football operations and support. We've got 2 identically sized large
Scott Satterfield's
staff
office
meetings.
right here.
So
Head coach's
one for
office.
offense, one for defense, or they could do all staff. So kind of the war room, right? Think of it as floor to ceiling whiteboards and projector screen. We're actually buying a conference table that is kind of a trapezoid shape, so that when you're sitting at the end furthest away from the monitor, then the table gets wider as it gets closer, so that everybody that sits at the table actually has a view of the screen without having to look in front of or behind the person sitting next to them. So again, really tried to kind of think of everything, but these will be used daily. Right now we only have one of these rooms that they're constantly rotating through, so to have 2 will be awesome. And then full-time assistant coaches have a view of the field, and then similarly to the recruiting side, we've got a bullpen area for all of our quality control analysts and other support staff. They'll have workstations and copy and print and all their needs to support our assistant coaches. Second story of the main team meeting room, but you can see it connects out to the 3rd floor here. And then if you're in this hallway, this is kind of, think of it as football specific branding. So bowl games, All-Americans, award winners, team culture, reinforcement, right? All those things this is the space they're going to be living in every day. So these are primarily your defensive individual position group units. So inside, outside linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties, right across from the main team meeting room. And then you've got defense has a room just for that unit as a whole, and then offense kind of occupies this end of the building. So you've got 2 in the middle here, tight ends and quarterbacks. Most of these rooms are stadium seating with 2 to 3 rows of the team room type chairs with all the audio visual and the whiteboards. The quarterback room is actually more of a conference room, so it's just a conference table with projection and the rolling chairs. But you'd have offensive line, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, quarterbacks all on this side, but all of it kind of hooked up back to the hub of the video coach's video room. So you can peek in any of these if you'd like.
So the QB room is conference room.